what's going to happen Monday. As you know, at the beginning of the week, I guess it was Tuesday, maybe by Monday, it appeared that Christine Blasey Ford would be testifying on Monday of next week. At this juncture, subsequent to her attorney saying, I guess so, on Sunday morning or Monday morning, that she would testify, she requested, which is basically par for the course, an FBI investigation into the matter. Now, it would be very weird for someone who is lying to request an FBI investigation, which could quite possibly debunk what she's saying. I mean, if she was to get up there and say there was no, and it was quite clear that the committee was aware, like the FBI wasn't able to substantiate any of your claims, that there was a party, that they were there, that anybody heard about this, none of it. And on the contrary, we know that there was or was not a party. We know that there was or was not other people at that party. And the FBI could dig into it. But the Republicans don't want that. They want just to put an accuser up there who is very nervous about being in public because of the death threats that have obviously followed since she come out, et cetera, et cetera.
She's got daughters.
And the Republicans are hoping that she would say she would not show up. It's quite possible she may not show up on Monday. However, it's also quite possible that she may start going on television on Friday. And by Sunday, maybe she's on 60 Minutes and she's telling her story. Now, Brett Kavanaugh is not going to go on 60 Minutes. It would be awkward for him to do so. So it's unclear what happens. It's unclear what happens if the Republicans go ahead and vote for Brett Kavanaugh, having essentially driven the witness away from a hearing. And what it's going to mean for someone like Collins or Murkowski. So there's a lot of things up in the air at this point. There's also this other story, and we don't know what the status is of it, of federal judicial employees who may have some information involving Brett Kavanaugh's awareness that his mentor, Kaczynski, famous judge, federal judge, who was brought down by his own problems with sexual, I don't know if it was quite assault, but it certainly was inappropriate. Impropriety. Showing porno to his clerks and whatnot. I don't know what the status is of that. We may run tomorrow for members an interview I did that will play on Ring of Fire radio. So if you happen to live in a place where Ring of Fire plays terrestrially, we may run an interview I did with Ryan Grimm, who broke both of these stories. They're big stories. And I floated for him, is there any chance that the Republicans were somewhat interested in keeping this seat vacant? He had that thought too, he said, but hasn't heard anybody articulate that. It definitely appears now that they would like to vote Kavanaugh in. But this is changing minute to minute. I really do think. And so we will see. We will see what goes forward. But interesting detail on this video, which you may or may not have seen by now. Brett Kavanaugh apparently giving a speech. And where was he giving this speech?
American University.
At American University. And he was talking about his attending Catholic University of America's Columbus School of Law. And I guess he was making a couple of jokes about it. But before he did, and I want to make sure that we provide this entire context here. At least I will read it off because I don't know if we have the video. Apparently the speech went like this. Our motto at Georgetown Prep was to be men for others. It was an all-boys school. To be men for others, Kavanaugh said. And I know this school, this is, he was at American University. This school helps teach its students to be lawyers for others, to serve the public and to serve others who are in need. He went on to discuss teachers and coaches he had and sayings of theirs that he recalled. Then he said this.
We had a good saying that we've held firm to this day, as the dean was reminding me before.
Oh, pause it. Okay, let me just add. He said, I, by coincidence, 3 classmates of mine at Georgetown Prep were graduates of this law school in 1990 and are really, really good friends of mine. Mike Bidwell, Don Ergo, and Phil Merkel. And they were good friends of mine, and they are still good friends of mine as recently as this weekend when we were all on email together. Now started from the beginning.
We had a good saying that we've held firm to this day, as the dean was reminding me before the talk, which is what happens at Georgetown Prep stays at Georgetown Prep. That's been a good thing for all of us, I think.
Yeah, all of us, all 3 of them. And fortunately, he started that saying. So here he is saying that at this speech. Now, don't want to make too much of this. There's a published version of this speech. And the chunk of speech that I just read off about these sayings was edited out. Now, law school articles, they edit this stuff pretty rigorously. Maybe it wasn't relevant. Maybe the stuff about...
Put that in the memory hole.
Yeah,
Really wasn't relevant.
Who knows? It wasn't in the
relevant.
article. But the point being that there's a story to be told, apparently, at this school. And if we wanted to know that story, they would let the other person who was accused of being in the room, Mark Judge, testify. He has refused to testify. He could be subpoenaed. Seems fairly relevant, right? I mean, you want to exonerate this Supreme Court justice before he sits on the court, but apparently they don't think it's that important to have Mark Judge there. In his 1997 memoir, Wasted Tales of a Gen X Drunk, Mark Judge was talking about 100 kegs or bust that he and Kavanaugh referenced on their prep school yearbook. Who knows? I guess we shall see.